I'm Michelle Wishoun, and I will be your guest moderator today. I couldn't have picked a better day to be a moderator because I get to sit next to System Improvements Senior Associate, TapRooT Instructor, and my friend Dave Janney.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, how are you today?
Doing great, doing great.
Good. Before we go further, if you have any comments during this session or after, please feel free to comment below and we'll get to them as soon as possible. Okay, so we have several tracks at our summit, and today we are going to talk about, Dave is going to talk about his safety track. Dave?
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate you taking time to be with us today. As Michelle said, our summit is organized into different tracks for different topics, and they're all really good. But the one I'm in charge of is the safety track. And so what I want to do today is just tell you a little bit about each of the sessions in the track and a couple things to give you information, to let you know you should sign up, and also to just kind of get you motivated to start thinking about the summit because it's not that far off and we're taking registrations now, and so we are ready to get going with the summit. So
just a few months away.
Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about each one of these sessions in the track. Right out of the gate, the first session, the first breakout session in the safety track is actually going to be Mark Paradies, who, as you know, is the inventor of TapRooT. And he's going to talk to us about using TapRooT for simple investigations instead of some of the other techniques that are out there. For instance, 5 whys is one that comes up a lot. A lot of times people think that for simple incidents they should use some other method, and they'll use TapRooT for some of the more involved things. We believe you should use TapRooT for the lower level incidents as well, because the way I look at it, if you're going to do something, you might as well do it right.
Yes.
TapRooT is fully scalable for lower level incidents, and that's what Mark's going to talk to us about. You may have seen our new book that came out last year, and it's got a really great example for how you use TapRooT with simple incidents. And so please don't use 5 whys. Use TapRooT for the easiest stuff. We actually believe 5 whys is root cause malpractice.
It is.
I know that makes a lot of people mad. They've been using it for a long time, but if you're going to do something, you might as well do it right.
Do it right.
So that's our first session in the track.
Yes, and everybody loves Mark. He has great talks. You need to come. If you don't have the book, you need to get the book. It's an awesome book.
Yep. Second talk in the track, and this will be on Wednesday, the summit, by the way. The second talk will be with John Boyle, and the title of the talk is Making Audits an Integral Part of a Proactive Improvement Program. John is a very experienced TapRooT user, but he's also a very experienced auditor. He's a exemplar global auditor, which, if you know anything about that, it's a pretty big deal. It's hard to get. It takes a lot of experience, and it's a very high-level credential. And what John is going to talk to us about is how you integrate auditing into your improvement programs. Sometimes in my experience, I've noticed that people do audits, but they treat it more as a paperwork exercise. And really, if you think about it, that's kind of a waste of time. Auditing should be for the sole purpose of improving your business.
Exactly.
And so what John's going to talk about is how you do that, and how you use TapRooT to help you do that. So I'm really looking forward to that talk as well. For safety people, I think that proactive side of safety is really, really important.
It is, Dave. And I feel like a lot of times audit isn't taken as seriously in companies. So I think it's really important that they notice that. And so if you can attend this session and take it back to your company and show them how important it is, and let's not make it a paper exercise, that will be such an improvement for your company.
All right, so the next talk is going to be with Nancy Hitchins. And Nancy's a very experienced safety professional, has been doing safety for a long time. But in the last few years, she's been working a lot with ISO standards and specifically risk. And if you've been involved with ISO standards recently, you know that risk-based thinking is being incorporated into the standards now. And also, regardless of ISO or not, an emerging trend in the safety industry is risk. We want to manage risk instead of managing things after the fact. And so what Nancy's going to talk about is a little bit about the ISO piece and the risk, but also how you can use TapRooT to help you analyze risk. what you can do with TapRooT is you can actually map out processes and spot the risks that are inherent in those processes. And Nancy's going to walk us through some examples of how you do that with TapRooT. So I'm really excited about that talk as well.
Yes, another great session, another great speaker. We all love Nancy, and that's going to be a very interesting session with her.
Yeah. Speaking of people we love, the next talk is with our own
yes.
Kevin McManus, who, if you've ever been to one of Kevin's talks, he's very lively, he's very animated. He's very passionate about what he does. And Kevin is one of our longtime TapRooT instructors, and he's also a senior Baldrige examiner, the Malcolm Baldrige Quality Award. And so he's got a lot of great insight. And what he's going to talk to us about is corrective actions. Because if you do the best investigation in the world and you don't have good corrective actions, you're basically wasting your time. So Kevin's going to talk to us about how to write good corrective actions and how to make sure the corrective actions actually address the root causes you found. So I'm really looking forward to that talk. It should be great, as it always is.
It is, and again, everybody loves Kevin as well. So this is a great course, and it's going to show how you can mingle those two together, the corrective actions and root cause, and it's just really going to tie in your investigation really nicely.
The next talk is with Jim Whiting, and Jim is from Australia. He's been a TapRooT person and a TapRooT friend for years and years, and Jim is also going to talk to us about risk. Jim has actually been involved in risk many, many years before any of us ever thought about it, probably. He's been involved in helping set worldwide risk standards over the years, and he's a really world-renowned risk expert. And he's going to talk to us about risk terminology, risk identification, why people get themselves into trouble when they don't manage how they do their risk properly, and he's really going to give us some great insight into risk. So we've got him coming up. He's from Australia, and it should be a great talk as well.
It will be. Many of you all know Jim, have met Jim, and risk. We're all involved in risk all the time, every day. So this will be a good session to get some information on how to avoid that risk.
The next session is with Vincent Phipps, and some of you that have been coming to the summit for a while had probably heard Vincent speak before. Vincent is actually one of our keynote speakers at the summit, but sometimes what we'll do is we'll have our keynote speakers give an extra session or two during the day, and what Vincent is going to talk about is how to communicate successfully. And so when I saw that he was available during this time frame and I could fit that into my track, I jumped on it because in my experience, communication is one of the most important skills that a safety person can learn.
Number one.
I know there's a lot of safety conferences out there and you can learn about all the standards and all the rules and everything, but that's not what the summit's about. The summit is about performance improvement. And so if you're a safety person, you can know every single rule in the world and every safety concept in the world, but you can still be not successful if you can't communicate with upper management, with frontline employees, with executives. And Vincent really is a communication expert, and he's also a really excellent speaker.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about having him in the safety track as well.
Yeah, we're all excited about that. Listen, communication is number one, no matter if there's safety or not. If you don't have good communication, it reflects on you. So let's excel. Let's communicate better, number one, and then let's just dive in and do everything else, and it'll all fit in together, and you'll succeed.
And last but not least, the last talk in the safety track is going to be with Karl Berendt. And Karl's from New Zealand, so we've got Australia covered, now we've got New Zealand covered. Karl is also a longtime TapRooT user. But what he's going to share with us is the story of a disaster that happened down in New Zealand, the Pike River mine incident. And he's going to share with us some details around that unfortunate incident, both from what happened, but also from the human side of it, because he's actually talked to some of the families, some of the other workers at the site, and he's going to help us understand what happens and how many people are affected when something bad like that happens. So, good information on one hand, but really, I think the power of this talk is going to be to help remind us all why we're in the safety profession in the first place. Because we're here to make sure everybody's safe, to make sure everybody goes home the way they're supposed to at the end of the day. And when somebody gets hurt, it doesn't just affect them, it affects everybody, their coworkers, their family, their friends, the community at large. And so Karl's really going to help kind of tie everything together at the end of the second day, help us remember why we do what we do.
Yes, and it means a lot to us. It's just so touching to hear these stories, and it's sad. But, on the other hand, we're learning, and we want to help prevent this in the future. But, it's all about safety, and it's all about learning.
So those are all the individual talks in the safety track. But, of course, everybody at the summit, regardless of what track you're in, gets to go to the keynote talks.
Yes.
And so if you missed the video from last week, you can go watch that. Mark and Benna talked last week about the keynote speakers.
Mm-hmm.
So great keynote speakers. Also, let's not forget about the party.
Party, Wednesday.
We have Carl Dixon
We do.
joining us again. So those of you that like music, it's going to be a great time.
Yes.
And so it's time to sign up. You never know what's going to happen at the party. You might hear Michelle sing.
No.
You might even hear me sing. Who knows?
Maybe both of us.
It could happen. It could happen. So
Never know.
if you're not there, you're going to miss it.
Yes, so be there. And be there Friday.
Yeah. So please sign up for the summit, and we will see you there.
We will.
Here in Knoxville.
What better place to have it? Thank you, Dave, for all the awesome information. As a reminder, our tracks do fill up really quickly, so if you haven't registered for the summit yet, please do so. You can go to our website at www.taproot.com, click on the Summit tab at the top, and you can register very easily, just like that. On behalf of all of us here at System Improvements, we look forward to seeing you at our summit in February, just a few short months away. And also, if you have any questions about Dave's track or any of the tracks or anything, please feel free to comment here. You could go to our Facebook page, comment there, like us. And if you're a Twitter person, you can go to our Twitter feed and comment there. If you comment about Dave's track, make sure you use #JaneyRocks. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. See you at the
Bye.
summit.